everyone, and welcome to the Late Night Show with Angie. Today, we will be having very special guests, the authors of the two well-known and famous books, The Giver and Jonathan Livingston Seagull. Today on the show, I will have two very famous and well-known authors from the two very famous and well-known books, Jonathan Livingston Seagull and The Giver. Today on the show, Richard Black and Lois Lowry will be joining us. So please, put your hands together and help me welcome the one and only who's touched many hearts and motivated many to look beyond their dreams, Richard Black. So, Richard, how are you today?
I'm fine, Adele. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure having you on my show. So, Richard, can you tell us a little bit about your book?
Sure, I'd love to. Jonathan Livingston Seagull is a contemporary fairy tale that relies on modern-day themes. It is a story of a young seagull with big ambitions, a seagull who is passionate about flying, who pushes himself to fly at tremendous speeds, trying to reach a higher plane of perfection. He is a rebellious seagull who is not interested in rules. This sets him apart from the seagull society, and since, due to his extreme love for flying, he goes against the seagull's way of life, he fails to fit in with his attempts, eventually leading him to be outcasted by the flock. Jonathan enters a new world where he continues his pursuit for perfection, learns to love, and returns back what he's learned. So he follows his heart and destroys all limits to prove that there's more to living than meets the eye.
So, Richard, how do you want your readers to view your book? From what perspectives?
Well, I wrote my books from many points of view, from many different lenses, and that's how readers have viewed my book as well. Many of the responses that I've gotten are that readers see my book through the psychoanalytical lens, and also relate it through a personal level. As an author, I believe when you view the world through a lens, you'll see many examples in the book that anyone can relate to and hold strongly about. In the book, we see how Jonathan loves flying, and his subconsciousness shows that he still can't forget flying. In the psychoanalytical lens, it says that some subconsciouses can influence the decision or behavior of humans. So when Jonathan gives up flying for speed, when he's flying again, he will realize that flying for speed is the only thing he wants to do. In the book, all parent seagulls told their kids flying is for food, and so in the subconsciousness, they know the reason why they have to learn to fly is for food, not for speed. In their mind, flying is not for fun or for speed. Flying is only for food.
So now on the show, I'd like to invite our other very special guest, a guest who has won many hearts and has won the John Newbery Prize. Please put your hands together and welcome Lois Lowry. So let's move towards Lois. Hi Lois, how are you? Thank you so much for coming on my show. Would you like to share any opinions on your book and maybe tell us a little bit about your book?
Well, thank you for having me here.
Pleasure.
It's really great to be on your show. So The Giver is a science fiction novel that tells a story about a boy named Jonas who lives in this world where everyone follows the rules, so nobody really thinks for himself. So he's assigned a job, which is the receiver of memories, and he goes as an understudy for the giver, who's the current receiver of memories, and he learns a lot of things. So what he learns is that before there were drastic changes and nothing was the same as they were before. The more he learns about having choices and the bad things that happen in the world, the more he wants to escape this world. So similar to Mr. Back's book, I viewed my novel through the psychoanalytic lens. Jonas is always in a constant yearning for meaning and a purpose in his life and in the life of others. So when he's assigned the role of receiver of the memories, he lives in isolation. He realizes that there's more to this job and the jobs that are assigned to other people. He learns that there's more to life than just doing the job, so he rebels from society and tries to break free from it. They teach society that there's more that meets the eye.
Oh wow, I didn't know Jonathan Livingston Seagull and The Giver are so alike. We see that in Jonathan Livingston Seagull, that Jonathan also tries to fight for his freedom and goes against everyone's wishes.
So Jonas also shows an example of self-actualization, where he fulfills what he sets out to do. He's able to feel joy while he's suffering. So this kind of resilience, the ability to press on through difficult times, can only be attained with a true sense of purpose.
Sounds like a book that will never get old for me. And now we will be back from a short break.
Save yourself from seagull disease, or you'll end up like this lunatic. I'm Richard's biggest fan, Leo Hansen. Leo, how do you feel about his book?
Fan of your book, I think it really captures one's attention, makes us interact with our inner self. I personally see this story relating to me through the Marxism lens. There are many examples in my story that I see through the book. The book decided who will get punished or shamed, and then everyone banished the long seagull. First, Johnson is not the only seagull get punished. Anyone who goes against the teaching society is criticism and the punished. Second, members in flock don't know the meaning of flying. They only flying for the food. They don't see that there is more of flying. The third, the last part in the story is the flock, and Johnson's parents told him flying is for the food, and these rules keep the seagull in order. Johnson became the first seagull who went against this idea and tried to prove the meaning of flying.
Okay, well, I'm happy that you thought this about my book.
So Richard, why seagulls? Why not monkeys, giraffes, or anything else?
Well, seagulls are actually my favorite animals, and when I was younger, as a kid, I remember that I used to dress up as a seagull costume, and I would fly around the house and make everyone laugh. And also on Halloween, I remember having my first costume as a seagull. So that kind of fascinated me.
I'm sure you've seen from space too. And thank you so much, Richard, for coming on my show, and Leo. It was a pleasure having you too. So thank you for tuning in on today's episode of the Late Night Show with Angie. Don't miss out on tomorrow's episode, as I will be having 2 other amazing guests, Mr. Justin Bieber and Donald Trump. Stay tuned.